Dear students, today we are going to start the second part of topic solutions. This video contains vapor pressure of solutions of liquids in liquids, Raoult's law, ideal and non-ideal solutions, colligative properties of non-electrolyte solutions, vapor pressure lowering, Raoult's law for solutions of non-volatile solutes, relative lowering of vapor pressure, molar mass of solute from vapor pressure lowering, boiling point elevation as a consequence of vapor pressure, boiling point elevation and concentration of solute, molar mass of solute from boiling point elevation. Vapor pressure of solutions in liquids in liquid. Consider a binary solution of two volatile liquids A1 and A2. The volatile liquid in the vaporization state contains vapor and liquid in thermodynamic equilibrium and exert the pressure. These molecules exert the pressure. Vapor molecule exert the pressure on liquid and liquid molecule exert the pressure on vapors. This pressure exerted by vapor in thermodynamic equilibrium with condensed phase, solid or liquid, at a given temperature in a closed vessel is called as a vapor pressure of that liquid. And both the components are present in vapor phase, and the partial vapor pressure of components are related to their mole fraction. And the mole fraction is value represented in X. For solvent, it is represented as X1. And for solute it is represented as X2. This value of X1 is N1 divided by N1 plus N2. X1 is mole fraction of solvent and N1 is number of moles of solvent, N2 is number of moles of solute. Mole fraction is the ratio of number of moles of that component divided by sum of number of moles of both the components present in the solution. Here X2 is equal to N2 divided by N1 plus N2. For X2, mole fraction is the ratio of number of mole of second component and the sum of number of moles of both the components. And this relationship is given by Raoult's law. Means relationship with the mole fraction is given by Raoult's law. Raoult's law, it states that the partial vapor pressure of any volatile component of a solution is equal to the vapor pressure of pure component multiplied by its mole fraction. In this equation, first equation, P1 is partial vapor pressure of first component, X1 is mole fraction of first component, P10 is vapor pressure of first component. In the second equation, P2 is equal to partial vapor pressure of second component, X2 is mole fraction of second component and P20 is vapor pressure of second component. So in this way, two equations are written according to the Raoult's law, and we know according to Dalton's law of partial pressures, total pressure is equal to sum of all partial pressures. So this is P1 and this is P2. These values are substituted. Capital P is equal to P1 plus P2 becomes P10x1 plus P20x2, and we know x1 plus x2 is always 1. Therefore x1 becomes 1 minus x2. By putting this value of x1 in this equation, we get this equation: P is equal to P10 in bracket 1 minus x2 bracket complete plus P20 x2, and after multiplication this equation is obtained. Capital P is equal to P10 minus P10 x2 plus P20 x2, and by removing the common factor x2 we get this equation: capital P is equal to in bracket P20 minus P10 bracket complete x2 plus P10, and we know because of the P10 and P20 are constants, so by plotting the graph of pressure versus x2 we get the straight line as the graph shows the variation of vapor pressure with mole fraction of solute. This is vapor pressure and this is mole fraction. When P1 is plotted against the mole fraction x2, this type of straight line graph is obtained. Initially the mole fraction of first component is 1 and mole fraction of second component is 0. And the graph shows straight line which is passing through the origin when the mole fraction of first component is 0 and the mole fraction of second component is 1. And the third graph which shows the straight line from P10 to P20 which shows the ideal solution, that is the total pressure, first partial pressure plus second partial pressure, means the total pressure is the sum of partial pressures. As I have already told in the graph, for P10 versus x2 straight line, P is equal to P10, x2 is 0 and P is equal to P20, x2 is 1. For P1 versus x1 straight line, P1 is equal to 0 at x1 is equal to 0. This is x1 is equal to 0 and straight line. And P1 is equal to P10, x1 is equal to 1. For P2 versus x2, P2 versus x2, P2 is equal to 0, x2 is equal to 0, x2 is equal to 0, and P2 is equal to P20 at x2 is equal to 1. In this way, variation of vapor pressure with mole fraction of solute given according to Raoult's law. Ideal and non-ideal solutions. Ideal solution. Ideal solution is the solution which obeys Raoult's law over entire range of concentration, and enthalpy change of mixture is zero, means no heat is evolved or absorbed in the reaction, means there is no exothermic reaction or endothermic reaction when components forms an ideal mixture or ideal solution. Delta V is zero. There is no change in the volume when two components form an ideal solution. Interactions are comparable. The interactions, solute interaction, solvent solute interaction, and solvent solvent molecular interactions are comparable. Vapor pressure always lies between vapor pressure of pure components, and examples like benzene and toluene, which behave nearly ideal solution. Let us see non-ideal solutions. The solutions which do not obey Raoult's law over the entire range of concentration. The vapor pressure of these solutions can be higher or lower than those of pure components, and shows two types of deviation from Raoult's law. Positive deviations from Raoult's law. See the diagram, graph, where value of x1 is 0 in the initial stage, and in the final value of x1 becomes 1. This type of graph is obtained by plotting vapor pressure versus mole fraction, and this is a positive deviation. And when the value of x2 is 1 at initial, it starts from here, and value of x2 becomes 0. This is the graph, and this is positive deviation. And this is the graph for vapor pressure of solution, and this is the graph for vapor pressure of solution, which shows positive deviation. Examples: ethyl alcohol plus acetone, carbon disulfide plus acetone. And why the positive deviations occur from Raoult's law? That is due to the intermolecular attractions which are weak in solute and solvent. Negative deviations from Raoult's law. See the diagram, see this graph. x1 is equal to 1. This is the mole fraction of first component at initial stage. It becomes 1, and this is the original graph, which is in the form of straight line, and this is negative deviation. And mole fraction of second component 1, and it becomes 0. This is graph, and this is negative deviation. And graph of vapor pressure of solution, and this is negative deviation. And the examples: phenol and aniline, chloroform and acetone. The negative deviations occur due to the intermolecular attractions when strong between the solute and solvent. If the solute and solvent intermolecular interactions are strong, negative deviations occur from Raoult's law. Colligative properties of non-electrolyte solution. The physical properties of solutions that depends on the number of solute particles and not on nature are called colligative properties, and there are four colligative properties of solution. First, vapor pressure lowering. Second, boiling point elevation. Third, freezing point depression. Fourth, osmotic pressure. Vapor pressure lowering. See the figure. First figure contains volatile liquid, volatile solvent particles which vaporizes. In the vaporization, vapors are present and liquid is present, both in equilibrium. That equilibrium is called as thermodynamic equilibrium, and the vapor pressure is more. Consider the next vessel in which these red color particles are of solutes. When non-volatile solute is added in the solvent, the rate of vaporization decreases. There is also equilibrium, and as a result, lowering of vapor pressure take place. In this lowering of vapor pressure, the molecules of pure solvent available less surface area for vaporization. Less surface area for vaporization per unit surface area for vaporization of solution becomes less, and as a result, lowering of vapor pressure take place. Lowering of vapor pressure take place when P10 is vapor pressure of pure solvent and vapor pressure P1 is the vapor pressure of solution, then P10 is greater than P, or P1 is less than P10, and the difference in pressure in the lowering is equal to P10 minus P0. This is called as vapor pressure lowering. Raoult's law for the solutions of non-volatile solutes. It states that the vapor pressure of solvent over the solution is equal to the vapor pressure of pure solvent multiplied by its mole fraction, and it is given in the equation. This P1 is partial vapor pressure, P10 is vapor pressure of pure component, and x1 is the mole fraction of the pure component. And we know x1 plus x2 is always 1. Therefore, x becomes 1 minus x2, this value. And by putting the value of this x1 in this equation, we get this equation p1 is equal to p1 0 into 1 minus x2 in a bracket, and it becomes p1 is equal to p1 0 minus p1 0 x2, or p1 0 minus p1. This p1 0 is shifted on the left hand side, and the equation becomes p1 0 minus p1 is equal to p1 0 x2. And we know this p1 0 minus p1 is equal to delta P, means lowering of vapor pressure, and this becomes the equation delta P is equal to p1 0 x2, and this lowering of vapor pressure is related with this x2, which is mole fraction, means lowering of vapor pressure depends on the value of mole fraction, means the lowering of vapor pressure is a colligative property, and it is proved with the help of variation of vapor pressure of solution with the mole fraction of solvent by using the graph. The graph shows vapor pressure when plotted against mole fraction of solvent. Initially the mole fraction is 0, and at the end the mole fraction is 1, means mole fraction increases as the vapor pressure increases, mole fraction also increases, means mole fraction depends on vapor pressure and vapor pressure depends on mole fraction, means lowering of vapor pressure is again related with the mole fraction, and here vapor pressure is related with the mole fraction. So due to these two statements, lowering of vapor pressure is a colligative property. Relative lowering of vapor pressure. Relative lowering of vapor pressure is the ratio of vapor pressure lowering of solvent and vapor pressure of pure solvent. This delta P is the vapor pressure lowering of solvent, and P10 is vapor pressure of pure solvent. And by using this equation, delta P is equal to P10 minus P1. Here by putting the value of delta P, we get this equation, and delta P divided by P10 is equal to x2. This is delta P is equal to P10 into x2. So this delta P divided by P10 is equal to mole fraction. So thus relative lowering of vapor pressure is equal to the mole fraction of solute in the solution. Therefore relative lowering of vapor pressure is a colligative property. Molar mass of solute from vapor pressure lowering. We studied that the relative lowering of vapor pressure is equal to delta P divided by P10 is equal to X2, and X2 is mole fraction of solute, and N2 is number of moles of solute, N1 is number of moles of solvent. But for the dilute solutions, N1 is very large than N2. Therefore, N1 plus N2 becomes nearly equal to N1. Nearly equal to N1. And this becomes N1. So this equation is converted into this equation. X2 is equal to N2 divided by N1. And this X2 is equal to delta P divided by P10. So it is related and written delta P divided by P10 is equal to N2 divided by N1. And we prepare a solution by dissolving W2 gram of solute and W1 gram of solvent. So, number of moles of solute W2 by capital M2 and N1 is equal to W1 divided by capital M1, where W2 is mass of solute, M2 is molar mass of solute, W1 is mass of solvent, capital M1 is molar mass of solvent. And by putting these values of N2 and N1 in this equation, we get this equation. X2 is equal to delta P divided by P10 is equal to W2 divided by W2 divided by M2 and divided by capital W1 divided by capital M1. And by transferring this M2 to the denominator and this M1 to the numerator, this equation is obtained. P10 minus P1 divided by P10 is equal to delta P divided by P10 is equal to W2 capital M1 divided by capital M2 into W1. And these all other quantities, if given, molar mass of solute capital M2 can be calculated. Boiling point elevation. Before to study the boiling point elevation, it is necessary to know what is boiling point. Boiling point, it is the temperature at which vapor pressure of liquid is exactly equal to atmospheric pressure. Once again I repeat here, boiling point can be defined as it is the temperature at which vapor pressure of liquid is exactly equal to atmospheric pressure. And it is found experimentally that when small quantity of solute is mixed with the solvent, its boiling point is elevated, means boiling point increases. And if This capital T0B is the temperature of pure solvent, and capital T is the temperature of solution. Experimentally, the temperature of solution is more than temperature of solution is more than the temperature of pure solvent, and that is given by this equation. Capital T small b base to small b is greater than capital T0b, and this delta TB represents the difference between the temperature of pure solvent and the solution. The difference between the boiling point of solution and the pure solvent at any given constant pressure is called as boiling point elevation. So this is the equation which shows elevation of boiling point. Boiling point elevation as a consequence of vapor pressure. To understand the elevation of boiling point, let us compare the vapor pressure of solution and pure solvent. See the graph in which value of vapor pressure versus temperature, which shows the curve CD and curve AB, in which curve CD is below the curve of curve AC. Curve AB represents the vapor pressure of solvent. Curve CD represents the vapor pressure of solution. And the difference between the vapor pressure increase as temperature, and vapor pressure increase as predicted by the equation delta P is equal to x2 into P10, and the intersection of curve CD, this is curve CD, corresponding to 760 mm pressure, is the boiling point of solution. This is boiling point of solution. And similarly for curve AB, at 760 mm, this is the temperature, this TB0 is the temperature for solvent, and TB is temperature for solution. And from the diagram it is clear that TB is greater than TB0, means the boiling point of solution is bigger than or more than the boiling point of solvent. We know at boiling point the vapor pressure is 760 millimeter. So this 760 for this curve AB intersect on the temperature axis and called TB0, and for curve CD this pressure intersect at point C and the temperature is TB, which is greater than the boiling point of solvent. And see the vapor pressure. The vapor pressure of AB from B to A, from B to A point, and the vapor pressure for the solution is from D to C, but it intersect in this particular point and not given the name. If we give the name as E, point E, means the curve DE, same DE shows same temperature but lower vapor pressure, means there is a lowering of vapor pressure, and to increase this pressure up to 760 mm from E to C, from E to C, to maintain 760 mm, this vapor pressure is increased and intersect at 760 mm pressure line and obtained TB as a boiling point of solution. Hence, the vapor pressure of solution needs higher temperature to reach 760 mm pressure or 1 atmosphere pressure. Hence, boiling point is elevated to TB for solution containing solute without solvent. And the molar mass, boiling point elevation and concentration of solute. We know the elevation of boiling point is directly proportional to molality. Small m is molality. And equation becomes delta TB is equal to Kb into small m, where Kb is called ebullioscopic constant or molar elevation constant or boiling point elevation constant, and small m is equal to molality, and molality means number of moles of solute divided by mass of solvent in kg. And if the value of small m is equal to 1, this small m is equal to 1, we get this equation delta TB is equal to Kb, and thus the ebullioscopic constant is the boiling point elevation produced by 1 molar solution, and the units of Kb is equal to delta TB divided by small m, and delta T means the delta TB means the temperature, unit of temperature is Kelvin, and the unit of molality is mole per kg or mole into kg raised to minus 1. So Kelvin divided by mole divided by kg, it becomes Kelvin kg mole raised to minus 1. Kelvin kg mole raised to minus 1. This is the molar elevation constant. And molality is temperature independent. Temperature independent. So concentration of solute is expressed in mole per kg instead of molarity, because of molality is temperature independent. Molar mass of solute from boiling point elevation. This is elevation of boiling point. Delta TB directly proportional to molality of a solution, or delta TB is equal to Kb into m, where Kb is the molar elevation constant or ebullioscopic constant, and if the solution is prepared by using W2 gram of solute in W1 gram of solvent, the value of N2 becomes, means number of moles of solute becomes W2 divided by capital M2. This N2 is number of moles of solute, and the mass of solvent is W1. Mass of solvent is W1 gram. Therefore, mass of solvent W1 gram becomes W1 gram divided by 1000 gram per kg is equal to W1 divided by 1000 kg. By cancelling this gram and gram, we get W1 divided by 1000 kg. And the molality, small m, is the ratio of moles of solute divided by mass of solvent in kg. This equation is according to the definition of molality. Molality means number of moles of solute per kg solvent. Number of moles of solute per kg solvent. So, number of moles of solute W2 divided by M2, and mass of solvent in kg is W1 divided by 1000 kg. So it becomes 1000 W2 divided by M2 into W1 mole per kg, and delta TB is equal to Kb into small m. This value of small m is substituted in this equation, and we get this equation: delta P is equal to Kb into 1000 into W2 divided by M2 into W1. Hence the molecular weight is calculated by using the formula M2 is equal to 1000 Kb capital W2 divided by delta TB W1.